Hi, this is Moinul, Product Management, Palo Alto Networks. Today in this session, I will do a quick demo of Aperture and show you how it really works. Aperture, from deployment perspective, it's a very simple product. It doesn't require you to install anything on-prem. We do not ask you to push an agent on your endpoints to steer traffic in a web proxy type of technology. Aperture, it's a service that runs from the cloud. Each and every customer, they will have their own tenant instance. As an admin, you would log in, and let me show you how easily you can log in and set up the service. Once we create a tenant instance for your organization, you would log in using your admin credentials. And once you log in, the first thing that you are going to do is you are going to add a SaaS application that you want to secure. So in this case, I'm saying I want to secure Box. What this screen is telling me that connect to your Box account using admin or co-admin credentials. So essentially what I'm doing is, as you can notice, the URL has changed. Now we are at Box, and we are authorizing Box so that Aperture can access to our corporate instance of Box applications. Once the authorization is done, what will happen is Aperture will start scanning your existing content. And this is a very interesting point about Aperture. If you think about any inline proxy solution to secure your SaaS application, the inline proxy only protects you from any future violations. What that means is the day you deploy the inline proxy, could be forward proxy, reverse proxy, it will detect any future violations, and then it will let you mitigate those risks. However, Aperture, since we connect via API, via application API, it has capabilities of doing retro inspection. So if your organization has been using Box for the last 2 years, let's say you have 70 terabytes data, 500,000 assets, the Aperture will connect, and immediately after the connection, it will go through the content, it will do deep inspection, and it will secure you from all your past violations. And of course, with any future violations that might happen through automated policy, you can take care of those risks as well. Once we make the connection, the Aperture will start scanning your content based on these predefined policies. As you can see, you can create these policies in many different ways. Our policies can be created based on simple keyword matching or pattern matching with regular expressions. We also support industry standard data classifiers. So for PCI violations, we would be looking at credit card numbers, max stripe data, IBAN numbers, and so on and so forth. For PII, we would be looking at social security numbers and tax ID numbers, and so on and so forth. We also look for sensitive credentials. Interestingly, we find a lot of documents in the cloud environment where people are storing their SSH keys. Aperture also is capable of doing machine learning. What that means is over the last couple of years, the engine has learned from thousands of documents. So without you creating or touching any policy engine, the engine can automatically detect legal documents, financial documents, and many different types of critical information that you might be storing in your corporate Box account. So once we start scanning against these policies, once again, we look for sensitive content and we look at the context around the usage. At the same time, through the wildfire policy, we would be looking for malware threats and advanced threats. So once we detect these violations, we bubble up the risk on the dashboard. And as you can see, in this particular case, it's telling me that I have 4 malware in my Box account. Once you click through the asset, you will find more information about the malware. There are other violations that we have captured here. There are 22, I can see 22 PII violations. You can filter. I'm saying that show me only the assets that are publicly exposed. So now I want to know more information about these violations. So when I click on an asset, it's telling me that this particular document, it has one of my customers, it's a purchase order. It has one of my customers' tax ID information. Here's the simple preview of that assets. It's giving me more information about the owner of the file. It's sitting in box. It has been publicly exposed. It's telling me that it has a public URL. However, this asset has been exposed by the parent folder. So when I click here, I can see which URL that has been exposed. But the most interesting information here is that this asset has been exposed by parent folder. And this is something that we see all the time. The owner, the actual owner of the file, he doesn't think that he's sharing this information externally. But unfortunately, since the file is sitting on a particular folder, that folder has been exposed. So I'm giving here, we are seeing more information, who is accessing this file, who is uploading, downloading. I'm also seeing that there are a bunch of external collaborators, collaborators that are not part of my organization. They also have access to this asset. And then it's also telling me exact location of the file, so that instead of me hunting for this file within my 500,000 assets, I know exactly where it is located. So now, since I know that this has been exposed by a parent folder, I want to learn more about this folder. So when I click on view details, this folder, it's telling me there are actually 2 assets that are exposed by public URL. And then, all the information about this particular folder, how many external collaborators are there, and so on and so forth. Now that I have all this information, now it's time to think about the mitigation. There are a bunch of actions that I can take, mitigation actions that I can take from the UI itself. I can simply create a workflow, and I can say, I'm going to assign this violation to Nick Piagentini, who is my risk and compliance officer within my organization. And Nick is going to be responsible for mitigating this risk. I myself can take a bunch of actions. I can simply send an email to the user saying that, is this an expected behavior? I'm seeing some policy violations. Is it something that you want to mitigate yourself? Instead of sending an email, I can also take other actions, like I can relocate the asset into a different folder. Basically, I'm quarantining the file. Since the asset has been exposed by a public URL, I can simply remove all the sharing, external sharing. I can also go and remove all these external collaborators, and once I remove them, I can remove them from all files within this folder or from this particular file. Thanks for watching the video. If you need an in-depth demo, please contact your local sales rep. Thank you.